Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' with Web Show. I'm GW Pomacher. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. We're here at MegaCon Tampa Bay. We are so glad. We're going to take a little look around. Just follow me on this way. And look at this. We've got cosplayers coming in over here. We've got crowds already started to come in here. First thing this morning, it's going to be absolutely amazing. So stay tuned in, stay logged on, and see who we're hanging with next.
Let's hear it, our audience. We know you're loving it.
Somebody should actually record our
audience member. There are several people.
Yes.
And we're having
I am counting cell phone charger over there.
Cell phone charger applauded. Yeah.
So what's the back row?
This is the first panel in room 4 at Tampa Bay's MegaCon. So that we are
technically we are the number one
panel
in
room 4.
Right.
Number 1 panel. Why be number 2 when you can be number 1?
That's right.
Number 1.
That's disgusting.
Hey, I wasn't taking it there. I wasn't taking it.
Yeah.
He does that.
Lord.
I'm Mark Baumgarten. I'm the host and creator of Mark 42, the online radio show that talks about out there. That talks about Doctor Who and other science fiction in general. We go beyond the WHOniverse. To my left,
I'm GW Pomacher. I am the host and creator of the Hangin' with Web Show. We interview author. Oh, look, we have a fan.
Yay!
Remind me to give her a raise. In the meantime,
she's laughing.
She knows she's not getting that raise.
Some caffeine just came out of her nose.
So we interview artists, authors, creators, filmmakers, you name it, anybody in the pop culture, arts, and entertainment industry, and bring them to a worldwide web audience. We hope to, anyway.
We kind of do that too, but he does it with the video presence. He's like, he can be seen. That's why he's wearing the suit outfit while I'm wearing a polo shirt. We do radio. And this guy here is wearing a t-shirt.
If it helps, when I
with
bought
your
my
name
cameras,
on it.
Well, with my name on it, that's true.
When I bought my cameras, the guy at Best Buy did tell me I had a face for radio.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what he meant by that. But
well, I can tell you what he meant by it, but that'll be for later on.
Okay.
Maybe at the pizza party.
At the pizza
we'll talk
party,
about that.
We'll talk about that. Okay.
Okay.
So
I have a body for radio.
And we've hit a new low. Okay. Yes, that phrase is used. That phrase is used too much on
Just in case they keep talking, my name is Christian Basel, and I'm co-producer of Mark 42, going on the 5th year, and starting on our little trek into iPod radio.
Yeah.
So we're approaching our 200th episode, and with over 100 guests from the WHOniverse and beyond, we're just enjoying this ride from convention to guests having yes.
100?
200.
200.
You sleep? You must sleep.
I don't really get this.
I like 235 like last week. I've been doing this for a year, so come on, you're killing me.
Well, you got help and they're gorgeous.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's true.
I am. Yes.
That is true.
That is true.
And you're on like 5 days a week.
They also
I actually
pose out.
And the cool thing about Mark
If they were up here, we'd have a bigger audience.
Yes,
there you go.
That's right. They put us up here, so.
Yeah, and the cool thing about
This is
Mark,
crowd control.
I know we're going to say this. So the cool thing about Mark 42 is that we've done the research, and we are. Can I say this, Christian? We are officially. We've done the research.
He said it anyway.
Krypton, I asked, but I am the boss.
That's true.
Krypton Radio, we've done the people there and us. We've done the research on the web using Alexa and stuff, and we are the #1 Doctor Who radio, podcast. It's called a podcast. Doctor Who podcast in America. It comes out of America. We are #1. Just like this is the #1.
America.
Yeah. Oh, are we allowed to do the one Donald Trump joke that we're allowed to do? show?
No, but thanks for asking.
Okay, that was.
So I guess we're here to answer your questions about either one of our shows, or about podcasting, or about life,
The
meaning of
universe
life,
and
the
everything.
universe, everything.
Of which the
Christian knows the answer to the everything part. We don't.
If I did, I wouldn't be here. This is a... Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
No, I was just gonna say we did this panel once before at ICCCon 3.
Yep.
And we thought it was fun just rapping and talking about podcasts and science fiction and TV and radio and stuff. But we thought, yeah, let's do it again. So that's what we kind of did.
Yeah. We always, as you can tell, we always have a good time just hanging out here.
Yeah, Tampa Bay MegaCon has been very kind to us. Yeah. Why don't you start first about web shows?
Hanging with the web.
Hanging with the web.
Gosh.
It's not hanging with the web. It's hanging with web.
The Hangin with web show.
The hanging with web.
Web show.
You are hanging with.
We are hanging.
You're using the slang. The hanging with.
They're just
Yes,
hanging.
I rocked that.
Very
You did, because it sounds like something that Tupac, if he was alive, would say.
What?
I'm hanging with the homies.
Don't ever do that again.
I think we're not allowed to use the word homie. It's in the...
Well, let's see.
It's in the rules.
We're old.
Yeah, we are
Old
old.
people cannot use
We
that
are old. We
term.
can't use that
Yeah.
word. We'll use another word.
No, you just can't use it, period. That's all I'm saying. It hurts my ears.
I don't know. So that's what we do. We slang. There was a phone app called Hang With, and it was like a Periscope, basically Facebook Live before Facebook Live. So it was a third-party app. So it was Periscope, and there was all these podcasts live. And I wanted to interview some really cool people, so I took my phone out and I started interviewing artists, authors in particular, because I'm an author myself, and doing it on this live app. And I went home and I said, boy, that was a lot of fun. I want to do that again and again and again and again. But I don't know what to do with the material, because this Hang With material is live. I'm no one. I have like 5 people at this time that were watching those two, and 2 people that didn't know any better. And so I said, I want to keep doing this. And I told my son what I did. And he said, Dad, you need to put that on YouTube. And I went, because I was 42 at the time. I looked
42?
At
That number comes up a lot.
Yeah, so I looked at him and I said, I need to put that on YouWare. And literally my 21-year-old son walked me through setting my YouTube show. It was really silly. But then I reminded him I changed his diapers at one time, so he believed me. So we started the show, and we started going to conventions, and we met up with you guys, and I mean, we have done, I think we're at around 350 shows. We started out about twice a week, and then we went to one a day. We post one interview show every day, so we interview an author, a filmmaker, you name it, and it's, oh my God, we talk to amazing, creative people. It's fun.
You know what I just realized? You were talking about, that we've only done 200 episodes.
Just teasing us. You guys are awesome.
but what I want to say is your show, I mean, how long do you run your show for? How long do you run your show?
We started out, some of our earlier episodes are around 10 to 12 minutes. If you go somewhere in the middle there, they get to be half-hour shows. And then I backed it back to about 15 minutes now, because apparently on YouTube, 15 minutes is and we were finding out that our half-hour shows weren't lacking for interest. People were watching, they liked the names, they liked who we were interviewing. They just didn't want to stay longer than like 12 minutes. And
no, there's some
that's an average thing. So I went online and I did all that silly research and said, how long did people watch YouTube videos? And I found out that the average was between 10 and 15 minutes, depending on the content. Now, if I was video gaming, I needed them to watch me for an hour. But if I was video gaming, I could watch in seconds. So that didn't work out.
Well, tell me if I'm wrong, because when I've been searching for YouTube videos and something, especially something specific on YouTube, and then I see a video that's like 1 hour and 2 minutes, you kind of go, because sometimes you're just looking for something specific, like if there was an event, let's just take like a football event or a wardrobe malfunction. You're not watching the whole game. You're going to watch
the wardrobe malfunction lasts 5 seconds
unless
you take the 15-second version when you go on slow motion.
So you're sitting there thumbing there going, well, 1 hour and 2, 58 minutes, and then we finally get to the minute and a half, like, that's what I watch.
Now, wait a second. Yeah,
that's my attention span.
Christian, our show, you know, they run from 45 minutes to one episode, which is 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But that 2.5 hour one had a great interview. I couldn't take any of it out when I was editing it. I had to let it go, and I should have cut it down to 3 episodes.
That's the hardest part for us of getting those, 10 to 15 minute interviews.
Right.
Is we'll do an interview. Sometimes we'll sit there. Sometimes it's one take. We're having a great time. Sometimes I'll get 35, 40 minutes of content. It's wonderful. I can't stop talking to somebody. And then I have to go home, and I'm like, all right, put 30 minutes up on YouTube. 6 people are going to watch this. Because they're going to do what you just said. They're going to go, they're going to say, oh my God, that's 30 minutes long. I don't want to see 30 minutes with anybody. Barring, if I was able, if they wouldn't like arrest me for going and hanging out at the celebrity corner, and just, those I could get people watch. 30 minutes with Shatner, everybody watches. But everyone down in Artist Alley, this is one of the things that, one of the reasons I do the show, is when you come to a convention, we have so much fun, but you walk down Artist Alley, Author Alley, you walk down where all the indies and the small press guys are. They've got so much amazing art. You got fan art, but you've also got original pieces. You've got artists in Artist Alley who do, one-offs for everything from Marvel and DC to one-offs for HBO for Game of Thrones. So these artists are professional artists, but very few people get to know who they are. And everyone wants to stand in line and get a photo op with Stan Lee. Why? But I mean, it's just we come here for that. But there's so many great artists here.
Yeah.
This is the last appearance since the last appearance.
No.
And before the
he has
next one.
Barbara Streisand's agent on the phone right now for the 9th going away concert.
This is the last appearance before the next appearance. But but after the last appearance.
Please tell me I'm wrong about that. That he's been going away forever. Then somebody says, "Stan, you need a new swimming pool." Darn, I guess I called it Texas.
I am glad that he's helping to raise money for the folks from Maria and Irma. For the that's a great thing. That's a great thing to do.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that he came out of being not retired in order to do that for us.
I truly believe after seeing a couple of movies with Stan, I think he actually likes it. I think people saying he's going to retire, he's going to retire, but I think it's not him that's saying that. I think he just wants to keep going. I think he wants the fans, he wants to tell the stories. And say
however, people like Johnny Carson, who said they were never going to appear on television again after his last show, he must get this promise. Pretty much. But
he went on Letterman for like
once.
For an appearance.
He went on Letterman kind of to,
Well, no, he was done.
That was it.
He was like,
podcasting is a great way to reach out to fans. We get to bring our knowledge of whatever subject you're talking about, and it doesn't have to be Doctor Who. It could be, you could have a podcast. You could do a podcast on cooking. Let's say cooking. So you would. I don't know, actually, I got a better example. This is getting bad. This is really bad.
Believe me, I put the celery in the pot, even though you can't see it on the podcast.
Yeah. No, there's this one podcast that I listen to.
Yeah, the salt.
There's this one podcast I listen to that's this guy who talks about New Orleans, and that's all he does. Every episode is about some aspect of New Orleans, and it could be the food, it can be the sites. You can have someone on from Trane. It's a very popular show, and I'm not going to give you the name of it, but you know, you can do a podcast on any subject, and you can get people listening, but what you have to have is something with chemistry, with credibility to get out there, because there are millions of podcasts out there. Because all you have to do is get an RSS feed, get a microphone, hook it to your computer, and you get on iTunes. You can get on iTunes and just talk by yourself, just about anything, and you're going to be heard maybe by one person or two people. Or
I'll listen.
You'll listen.
I'll listen. You know, because I truly, I really believe this. I think things like YouTube, Apple, podcasting, I think this has reinvigorated an industry that was large. I can't even say that there's only 2 or 3 doing it now, because there's only like 1 or 2 doing it. They just own 4 or 5 outlets.
Right.
The media has, regular traditional media has been gobbled up for business interest, and that alters what we get in terms of content. And so, thanks to internet media, we're able to bring. We do features, we do entertainment news. You know, we talk about pop culture and conventions and food, and there are guys out there talking about Star Trek. There are guys out there talking about individual shows.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Oh my gosh. Game of Thrones.
Podcasts out there on that.
And it's a place where you can get started by turning on the camera and talking to it. If you're brave, if you want to go out, you can start interviewing people. And that it does take something to walk up to somebody, stick a mic in their face and say, Christian, what do you think? I'm not paid to think, sorry.
Yeah.
And that's the answer that you get. And thank you for watching.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it is really, it takes something to get up and do that. And so we're all bringing an industry back to life that was vibrant through the 50s, 60s, and 70s when broadcast was out there doing it and creating talk shows. You know, a lot of these guys in Artist Alley and independent filmmakers, so we have Austin Janowski's out there with independent film. He's debuting a movie tomorrow night right here at MegaCon. The chances that most of those guys will ever sit on Jimmy Kimmel are like, they've got to be like the top 0.1% of their game before that happens. But they can talk to us. They can talk to you. They can talk to me. There's a bunch of other podcasters that goes around they can talk to.
And the web is important because, I mean, would Jimmy Fallon be as popular as he is, or James Corden, or any of the other late night hosts without those viral videos that go out? You know, the James Corden's karaoke carpool, that has made his show a hit. I mean, it's a good show. I love the show. But he gets millions and millions more viewers around the world just listening and watching the carpool karaoke.
Well, what's interesting about YouTube and all these medias that populated, people will sit and watch videos of fluffy bunnies and kittens purring all day.
Yeah, I remember that video with the cat and the laser going around.
Well, that's the strange part of it, is it's partly the interest. It's what people will sit and look at and what it pleases to them. And when it comes to shows like podcasts and stuff like that, there are a billion of them out there. So the question is, how do we appease those audiences? Right. How do we become the web show or the Doctor Who podcast that people will continue to listen to? We have an answer to that question as far as our show is concerned. A lot of it's due to chemistry. Yeah. Why do people want to listen to your show? I got a million people out there who want to talk, and some of them will just put you right back to sleep within 10 minutes. And some of them will take you on a magnificent audio ride for maybe hours on end, just listening to them. God only knows that Morgan Freeman and James Earl Jones get together and do a podcast. I'll be listening to that for the rest of my life and never get off YouTube.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah, exactly.
I would listen to that.
If that happens, we all have to go through day jobs because no one will ever turn it off.
Oh, that's true.
They'll never watch us. They'll be listening to Morgan Freeman for like.
Well, you see Malcolm McDowell and James Earl Jones do spring commercials, you know, Coach and whatever, and we get kicks out of that. But that's just, you know,
that's a 30-second one-off.
Exactly. But
don't stay on the air very long.
I got to see that again. We're all inclined to watch the car accidents and train wreck. Why? Because they tease to us. We will watch the fluffy kitten on. You know, just because
posted that gift.
Yeah,
Christian
follow me
Basel.
now on that. But we'll turn to the audience. Do you guys have any questions about podcasts, about our shows in particular? Did you have any
We can
questions?
teach you how to start one. Would you like that?
All right, get out your pens and papers. Here we go.
There we go. Step 1. Learn how to talk.
That's
Yeah.
wow.
Well, that's the
He just fired both of us.
So anybody 3 years old and above can go do a podcast.
What? Yeah.
I'll recommend that they probably do it a little bit.
I'm sure, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Michael could. I think Michael could.
Probably better than me. He actually knows my intro better than me. He sits down in the chair at home, and like when I'm not out with the studio set up, I have my director's chair just sitting in my living room at home in the back corner, and he'll hop up in the director's chair and he'll look at me and he'll smile, and I'll look at him and go, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he'll go, "Hello, World Wide Web." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
Come on,
Now, look, come on, Cosplay, my friend right here.
Do the introduction.
Can you introduce the Hangin with Web show?
Look at the camera. Come over here so you're on the camera.
Come on, yep. Do
The World Wide Web, hope you're playing in this episode.
He doesn't use the "the." He says it right. That's right. He said it right. So step 1 was you have to be able to talk. Step 2.
So unemployed.
Step 2. Step 2. Buy a computer. Buy a computer. That's something you want. Because yes, you could technically do a podcast from your phone, but you want it to sound professional, so you need equipment. So that usually cuts out the 3-year-olds. The 3-year-olds and up, because you can't afford it.
I don't know about it. Yes, yeah. Go ahead. What's your name?
For my show, I prefer the Microsoft LX 3000 chat headset. It's pretty good. The ambient noise gets cut off. You don't hear the sputters, the sound a lot. It's a pretty good headset, and you can buy it from Amazon for about $24.95. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
The fact that you know the price, that details.
Well, because I bought them occasionally.
buy them
for
all?
some
You have
of
stock
the
with them?
people. No, I bought them for some of my
Insert
co-hosts.
Amazon affiliate right here.
And I bought them for some of my co-hosts, and Amazon needs to always take me a sponsor.
We made when we first started out, we made a big technical mistake. The one thing we want is to get a good headset instead of the microphone and speakers.
You don't want
that will reverberate back into there, and you just sound like you're talking into a bar.
And the problem is some of our guests,
Yeah.
some of our guests that we have on the show, the celebrities, don't have a headset.
Yeah.
So we get weird noises during the broadcast because they're talking into a web and having the speaker of the computer coming at them.
Are you familiar with Doctor Who? Classic Who, by any chance? David? Okay, no, that's fine. We had a guest that we were pursuing for practically 3 years, no joke. And I got the emails to present that. And she is somebody who's not technically inclined, or at least when we were talking to her, she was like, she had just gotten it, I think she just got an iPad, right?
Yes.
Yes. So we became her first web interview. Her name is Katie Manning. She plays Jo Grant from the third Doctor series. And there, it was kind of nervous. Actually, if you don't mind, I got some of the audio from there.
By all means, please, yes,
I will not
definitely.
put it on there. It was her first time, and she was actually talking to it. Now, one of the hardest things about doing this particular show is that yes, they have different. When you have guests on, they have different types of audio that they have. So sometimes you have to deal with what they've got. If they've got the microphone speaker thing, you just got to pray that it just doesn't get through. But you try to get to use, if you have a team of people, to use some kind of headset. I did the same thing. And literally my search on Amazon was Skype headset. So, because that's what we used, then we tried to make it adaptable. One of the very first, it was actually the 103rd episode, which was Katie Manning. Now, she's done interviews before, but nothing on the scale of a web series.
No, well, you're setting that up. I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. Because we've seen a shift. We've been doing this now for 2 years since we did our first, here on my cell phone to now. And the last year or so, we've seen a shift, and I'm wondering if you guys did have too in the audio world, and that is that a year ago, if I were to call an agent or a publicist and say we're a web media outlet, there would be a long pause followed by a dial.
Okay.
And now a year later, everyone seems to be they're still a little skeptic, but they're a little more open to working with web media personalities. What do you guys experience with that?
Real simple. People have a prejudice about the word podcast. And that was a problem at the beginning getting guests. But then we got affiliated with Krypton Radio, and because of that, the radio show is called Mark 42. And we're able to tell people that we're the show on a radio station. And that helps get us interviews. And we also tell them, now we do have the podcast, and I don't like using the word podcast. I like using online radio show because it's basically the radio show on demand. Kind of like on cable, when you go to your on demand and you watch an old episode. So yeah, podcast is starting to get a little easier to use. I still don't like it, but because of things like Smodcast with Kevin Smith and the Nerdist podcasts, it's getting better, but I'd rather be on a radio show than on a podcast.
I don't know.
And I think a lot of our guests would probably rather be on a radio show.
I think the beginning, that when things get started, it was a podcast. It felt like it was below radio show. Yeah. Because if you ever mentioned the word boring out of my mind, but there's shows that I'd rather listen to on a podcast than I'd rather hear on a regular radio.
Well, yeah, and the nice thing is that now there's more variety in the shows. Because you know what, it is true. We'll look at Howard's remarks and we'll say, look, it is true. Anyone can start a podcast, start a YouTube channel, start a web series or a show. Whether or not you can do it long term is going to depend on whether or not you can find an audience. And finding an audience means continuously upping your game. I actually say on our YouTube channel, I uploaded like our first 7 episodes, our first 7 interviews. Right. They're awful. They're awful. I mean, they're
She's here at the first 6.
Look,
the show, yes.
I honestly, when I watch them, I feel bad because they're great guests. They're great. They're some terrific authors. We interviewed some artists. They were fantastic guests. I was just awful, and I had no microphone. I did it on my phone. So I'm yelling across the room, trying to get my phone to listen to me, and even my own phone doesn't want to listen to me. Like words are dropping in and out. So I'm like, this is really awful, but it's there. You can start there.
Yeah.
And you learn by doing. I think you learn by doing. So I would meet people at conventions and say to Christian or to Mark, and I'd say, hey, how do I get better sound? Because I'm getting lousy sound, and I know how to get microphones and whatever.
Well, I think part of that prejudice is because there is a vast variety. It is not that they're playing towards, you have to have a specific quality, you have to keep your audiences, or else that kind of leaves out the quality of the podcast. Anybody can grab a microphone and do it. The question is whether can you get an audience. So when people hear the word podcast, they're thinking, oh God, is it some guy just, with an audience of his mother and his father, just listening to on that, or one of us who got, what's that?
Your mother, father watch?
No.
Mine.
And thank God they don't. Oh, hi Mom and Dad, never mind. Exactly. But it was one of the determining factors of how do we approach guests, because we didn't want them to feel like, oh, okay, we were less than subpar. We told them, at some point we were just telling them we're Mark 42, that's it. Yeah. Because we could swing it either way. When we got Krypton Radio, we were a syndicated radio show, technically.
Because we are.
We were online, so that kind of weird, because everybody wants the terrestrial radio, not the web radio. Are you a podcast? Well, either way, that's fine. Some people just don't care. And plus, it just got to the point where we were just calling ourselves Market 42 because it was a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because if we sat there and explained, it was a 10-minute conversation. Well, we record the show, it's on a podcast, and it goes on a syndicated show. Now we're on iHeart. Now the dynamics have completely changed, and we kind of like using that label because it means something, and you hear the name iHeart all over the place.
We started the show back in 2012, and as of December, before we changed our aggregator fee and changed companies that we were working with our SS fee, we found out we had 35,000 people or listeners to our shows. That doesn't mean that we had 35,000 consistent listeners. That means 35,000 people had listened to our show in the first 4 years and some months. Now we're on the new system and we're on iHeart. I just checked, we're in the last 9 months, we are exactly at 23,200. And in 9 months or 10 months.
So what we did in the first 4 years, we're going to make in 1 year.
Yeah.
That's on top of what we did in the first 4.
On top of the 35, so we've actually had over 50,000 listens.
And that being said, what I would add to that is that there's a 5-year aggregator. It really is. I would tell any person that wanted to start a podcast, by all means, please. Creative voices need a place to let that out. And if you've got a great idea for a podcast, it's fantastic. However, I like to tell everybody, there is, that I'm aware of, no official get-rich-quick scheme that's going to work on the internet.
No.
It's going to be a process. We've been doing this for 2 years. We just hit 300,000 views. We are about to hit this week, looks like 5,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. We reach out to about 20,000 people per week. The matrices are all there, but that took 2 years of doing, and I am still itty-bitty to compare to any of there are podcasters, webcasters, YouTubers in that room over there with 500,000 subscribers. Some of the favorites on YouTube are 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 million subscribers. Every week they can count on 2 million people to at least be notified that they did something. So it is, it's just like any other business, just like any other endeavor, put the time and energy into it and you'll do well and you'll build an audience. If you're looking to have 3 million subscribers in 6 months, post cat videos or video games.
Yeah. Or single book Gundam style.
Sure, that does.
That works
that
too.
Right. But can you sing Gundam style?
No.
But also,
that's why I don't have 60 million.
But also, one of the great things that podcasts have done, and I use this example, and one of the weird things too about podcasts is the Chewbacca mom moment.
What?
Where it's hard to just, not only do you have to hit it, but you've got to also maintain it and keep it going over there. And one of the things I love about podcasts, they're also competitive too.
Yeah.
Because here's the best example I can put it. You go to a museum, and it's supposed to be a fine art museum, a high quality. You go in there, you look at a couple pictures, go, wow, that was painted in 5 minutes. I could have done that in no time. Then you go to probably some college, some college school, and they're putting up their students, and they far surpass everything you saw at that fine art museum. It makes it competitive that there's not just one channel that says, here, this is what we consider fine art. It gives you variety and gives you the opportunity to say, look, I like that. This is what I want, and I think that's what art is. In the essence of what podcasting is, this is what I want to listen to. There's this guy who sits in his basement and he wants to talk about New Orleans.
Right.
But I'd rather listen to that than anything on a nighttime talk show. That interests me more.
He does a great job like that.
There's now in the world of cable channels now, I'd rather watch Discovery Channel, I'd rather watch the National Geographic, I'd rather watch nature shows than anything from reality TV, ABC, NBC, CBS.
We have a limited audience here, but how do y'all spend a lot of time on your traditional TV anymore?
Do you watch it?
Ooh, see,
or do you watch?
You know, so we have Hulu, Netflix, the mother of us all. Give credit where it's due. They really did reinvent the way people watched television.
BritBox, where you can watch classic Doctor Who. $6.95 a month.
Well, any of these channels that are now coming up, Amazon Prime, Netflix, that say, you don't have to wait an entire, you don't have to wait 14 weeks to go see your show, to see the next episode. You can go, you see it whenever you want.
Is that I watch it all in 14 hours.
Exactly, and then we stay at home and we don't want to do anything. We're just binge watching.
14 hours, yeah. So I mean, people are watching TV in a different way. They're listening to the radio in a different way. I use an Apple TV. There are a lot of people with Amazon sticks or.
I use a Roku.
Roku, okay.
So we actually have a Roku app.
I do tell
Yeah, we Roku is a streaming system, and Mark42, we broadcast our shows on the Roku app, so you can listen to our show on your TV, basically.
That's awesome.
Do you want to listen to podcasts?
Do you?
Anyone? Yes?
Which one?
What kind of podcast do you listen to?
What's your favorite podcast that you listen to?
Okay.
Okay, great. That's fantastic.
All right.
See, that you're getting, again, you hit it on earlier, choosing your content. I mean, you can, people who want to do something on, when you're watching TV, you go to Discovery Channel to learn something, and maybe what you want to learn is there, maybe it's not. When you go to a podcast, what you want to learn is there. She can actually go on it. If you find what you're looking for, you can study and listen and enjoy what you want to listen to, and that's what we're here to do.
Okay, so you said you listen to Bible podcasts, right? Okay. Do you just listen to any Bible podcast, or do you have like a favorite or something? Okay. And what do you like about this podcast? What does he do differently from other Bible podcasts? Let's see that again. Deep stuff. Okay.
Yeah, see, that's the point. You can actually feel connected with the podcast in a way that traditional media today isn't exactly working. Traditional media is by definition passive media. We sit, they talk. In webcasting or podcasting with web media, vis-a-vis your social media, email, sometimes chats that are live, it's almost everything is a call-in show. Because I can get a message while I'm webcasting. I can get a Facebook message. All of these things is interactive. I have to connect with you if I want you to stick around. You may not comment, you may not ask me anything, but if I don't make a connection immediately, you go away because you want to feel interactive. Whereas classic media is just that. They talk at you.
Right.
They don't talk to you because they can't. They don't have enough time. They don't have enough room, space. I mean, everything is space limited. When I worked for a newspaper for 5 years, and one of the things that we learned is 17 inches is a lot, but I have to sell the rest of the page for advertising. So there's a limited amount of space to put a news story in. Even with a 24-hour news cycle, there's a limited amount of space on TV. There's a limited amount of space on a late-night talk show. We can provide an alternative because I can do 10 minutes, or I can do 50 minutes, or I can do whatever I want to.
And I can do 45 minutes, I can do 2.5 hours.
We can connect with you in a way that Jimmy Kimmel is not allowed to.
Right.
Because he's limited to fitting into a 60-minute block, of which he has 41-point-something minutes to spill. The rest of it has already been filled for him. I'd like to fill some of my space with advertising dollars because they feed me and those kinds of things, but I have unlimited amount of space to fill if I connect with an audience.
And speaking of sponsors, we had 4 years where doing a podcast isn't cheap. Besides the service that you're using, if you have a website, you have to pay for that. You have to. I finally, and I've been paying out of pocket for 4 years. Now that we're on iHeart, we actually have 7 sponsors on our show, 4 of which are paid sponsors. So it's finally paying for itself.
I just want to jump back to the interest of that. I want to give you an example of what I felt was really, really funny from one of our fans. And there was actually a fan who turned one of my friends. And she does the the Princess runs at Disney. And she one day decided she was going to do the run. She was tired of her music, so she downloaded some of our episodes and started doing the run. And I wrote back to her and said, "How was the run?" And she goes, "I almost didn't finish." And I go, "Really? What happened?" She goes, "I was running and about halfway I was screaming hysterically. Nobody knew what I was listening to at the time." And then she said, "Well, I tried to run again and I started running," and she goes, "I was laughing hysterically and I could not, I had to stop." And I was like, "I'm so sorry." And she goes, "Well, that's not the worst of it." And I go, "Really, what's the worst of it?" She goes, "About 3/4 of the way of her run, all of a sudden she started yelling obscenities because of what one of us said." And she's just cursing at Disney World during a Princess run because one of us she didn't agree to. She's going, "You, and I'm just picturing, oh my God.
Patty say something wrong.
What's that?
Patty say
Why do you always assume it's bad?
Okay, you.
Could have been you.
I didn't say it was you. I said it was Patty. I was laughing once. But we're going to play something. Yeah, you're going to play us something.
Well, I'll play something in a minute, but if you can reach somebody like that who are willing to go run and listen to your podcast and laugh and or yell at them, definitely affected my friend emotionally to the point where she was in another world of her own, that the one that she wanted to encompass and she wanted to listen and enjoy. So if you can do that, that's kind of what we'll be trying to do. Yeah, I'll try to. I apologize. I didn't cue it up rightly, and I don't know when it starts. This is one of our episodes with Katie Manning. Just so you can listen for it. This is her. This is the woman who did her first interview on her iPad. Was it?
She was doing it from her iPad.
Yeah.
She was in a. I think she was in a building. She had some kind of appointments and was doing it before it in the lobby or something. So today's episode was Mark.
Let's see. I'm going to jump up to
which has more than 180.
Something like that. Very, very occasionally I'll do the.
No, that's not it.
That will be Barnaby.
Today's episode
Okay,
is 42.
Of complete insanity.
Yes.
And it has been given all sorts of
okay, hang on one second. Let me rewind that.
John Pertwee.
Right through that whole process. So I did that happy because I'm really good at imagining things, because when you can't see very much, everything's in your head anyway. So it works for me.
Well, I'll try to play it. I think this portion of it is it, but if you know anything about Miss Manning, she was one of the first companions, or at least actresses that we know of, to reveal herself. In fact, she did a photo with a Dalek, both of them.
That you can't publish.
Quote unquote topless. Yeah. So she's explaining this, and I'm hoping we will find it. At least you get to listen to some of this, and you can hear the whole episode on our podcast. But this is kind of the interaction that we
on with things like that. So I really, when they had called me the next day and said, "Would you like to play Joe's run?" I mean, I was in total disbelief. I said, "Are you serious? Do you really mean it?" Because it was only my second job as an actress. So I said, "Oh, yes, please." Wow. But then I said, "You know what it's like in the thing. Getting the thing, it's very exciting." And then, of course, the nerves kick in. I said, "John Pertwee, I used to listen to him on the radio all the time when I was a little girl, and I do imitations of him, or of the character that he used to do." And of course, you started out, you don't go into a rehearsal and meet everybody, you start out by filming. And on the very first day, the stuntmen showed me how to fall out of a very slow-moving car. Because then you get a much better shot. You get me rolling out of the car, and then you go to stop out of the car.
That's right. We got Katie Manning, Dr. Who's Joe Grant, and here is more of our interview with her. You worked with John Pertwee for 3 years, 3 seasons. What was he like? What was the man like?
You can tell we were very, very, very close friends. And I think a lot of people do see that.
Yes, I agree.
Joe, you actually watched Joe grow up over those 3 years, because she'd done a very short course in all the things that she said she'd done but never passed. She was kind of so enthusiastic, and she was so loyal, and she was pretty fearless, because actually people always say, "Oh, the screaming." I did very little screaming. Also, Joe was very much a girl of her time with the clothes and so on and so forth, which, was quite hadn't really been looked at before, to have this young trendy person, because Violet thought it would be great to have a character like Jo who was bringing the younger children, because she was always saying, what does that mean, and what are we doing here, and why? So that got answered for the children, and of course, as you know, during that time we went into 75% adult viewing. It became kind of, you know, a cult, and so that got the teenagers because of the way that I dressed and everything. And then, of course, certain things that I wore things became some fathers because Dr. Who's paid.
Yeah. And actually, certain things you didn't wear with knowledge.
I have to spend my life with it. And it's always going to be there. And it was a moment of complete insanity.
Yes.
And it has been given all sorts of untrue stories of why, what, and how. But hey, I did what I did, and I take responsibility for doing it. But what really amazes me in the big books of Doctor Who, they put that shot in there.
They do. That shot will never go away. It's there.
Back then, that, as far as I was concerned, which I completely forgotten about it. And you know, there it is. Mind you, if you look at it, I mean, I've seen more cleavage on Doctor Who than you can see. And I even know when did it in Gold Hot Pack.
In the 80s, of course, yes. For American Doctor Who fans, it was a gargantuan urban legend on that photo shoot, and to have people was like, no, really, Joe Prince took some pictures of that. Nah, you're full of it.
I actually was at a convention in the 80s, and I bought a copy of the magazine.
Don't even go there.
And I was underage, and I was
I was an innocent.
Okay, I don't know why you explained that.
So was Mark until he saw those things.
Was that all? The whole thing was.
Oh, we can keep going.
What's great about this is not only is it an example of the differences between being able to do this without the technical expertise and know-how, and it makes the show like a call-in show. Yeah. It really does. But it also shows what we can do that I think traditional media has stopped doing. It's not their fault. They know what they're doing. They've been doing it a long time. They make a lot of money doing it. But we have the freedom to laugh at ourselves, to take content to the next level, and without being Howard Stern, without being a shock job, we can just have conversations that are real with people. When we sat down to come up with the name of our show, the Hang With show, we stole the name from the app, the Hang With app, and then I looked at it and I thought, you know, it's very apropos, because that's what I want to do. I don't want to interview. I don't want to be a new Johnny Carson or a Jimmy Kimmel sitting behind my desk with that person there. I want to sit here with Mark and Christian, just like we did at ICCCon. I'd much want to hang out with you guys. I want my audience to get to know what it's like to hang out with you guys. And whether that's an author or a filmmaker or a painter, a comic creator, I got to hang out with Ellen Bellman. It was cool. That's awesome. And my audience loved it.
And the most important thing is that over the time, when we first did our interview with Simon Fisher-Becker from Doctor Who, and we were very, very nervous, because the four of us at the time,
it was one of our earliest.
It was one of our earliest. We didn't even know if the guy was real, because we actually got him on Facebook. I just straight up asked him, and it was him, and we did the interview. When we got finally to Katie Manning, one of the things that we wanted to make sure during the interviews was, as Garrett is saying, we wanted to make sure that they were as comfortable, and this was fun. This was not the actors, was it?
Yeah, actor studio.
The actor studio, yes. I wanted to just keep up with it.
Okay, the next question is this.
Exactly. We wanted them to be as comfortable and as fun as we can make it, because if we're having fun, they're having fun. So as I'm hoping when you were listening, you were having a good time, because I saw you guys smiling and such like that. That was the reaction that we wanted. We wanted you to be immersed in the world that we were providing, and wanted you to be entertained.
And I think one of the reasons people listen to us is because we are having a good time while we're educating and while we're interviewing people that are interesting to find out about. And you know, it's a fun show, as well as I mean, the chemistry, and we've said it 3 times already. Yeah. The chemistry of our hosts. We've had several cast changes along the way. Christian we brought in around episode 40 or 30 or something, 30 or 40. And each time we've had to learn how the other person fits into the group. And we've been lucky because I think we've had one, I'm not going to name names, we've had one miss that I don't think fit in on our show. But
yeah, and chemistry is something that it can't be anticipated. You can't,
right.
You can't find out if you have chemistry in a job interview. You can't find out. You have to put the mic in their hand and see if it clicks. And that if you have that chemistry, you're having a good time doing the show.
Right.
Your guests are going to instinctively have a good time listening to the show. I've had shows when I personally thought the subject matter or the guest or what they did was dumb. I didn't understand it. It's not good. But the guests themselves had so much fun. Those are some of the best episodes. I'm doing the editing suite and I'm like, oh, that's fun. And just their reactions are so great. I'm like, I dread editing these episodes. So all I would think to myself was, oh God, I have to. And then I got there and I was like, actually, rerun it. I like it again. Because they're just so interesting and they're so much fun. And that's what I know my audience is going to enjoy themselves. Because I had a great time listening to it after, and I sat in the chair and I thought, oh God, this is bad.
I had to scrap the show. I had scrapped the show because I couldn't. I was editing it and I realized the audience is fun.
Well, one of the challenges being upon chemistry is when we've been finding new co-hosts and new people we bring in because some people leave for whatever reason, they do something different, lifestyles change. But the show has to continue to be fluid and continue to be dynamic. You don't want the five of us to come on the show and completely agree with everything that's going on, especially when we do an episode. Yeah. When we get together, we don't even I wouldn't say we don't show prep, but we don't tell each other what we're going to say. And usually it's something surprising. So if you listen to our show, you have 5 different co-hosts, you get 5 different answers to a question, or 5 different from a perspective. Maybe some of us have some things that we agree on, but there's a lot of times we don't agree on. And people will find themselves in what we say. Some people will find in something that Mark says, or I say, or Patty says, or Zion says, or Iggy, all our co-hosts. But they have something to relate to, and in some cases they enjoy it because when they were watching the episode of Doctor Who, they come back and see our perspective, they're going like, I did not even catch that. And sometimes when we come off the cuff, there are things that I won't even, I think Mark will say, and he says something completely different. I hated that episode. Whoa.
Okay. You got me on some of Series 10. I was like, what are you talking about?
I know, but what's entertaining is that chemistry you're going to have beside yourself. Not only if you're going to be by yourself, but to work with other people so that there is complete dynamic that people can appreciate while they're listening to it, all the family that they want to listen to. So they'll continue listening on whether it's 5 minutes or 15 minutes. They have an enjoyable experience from start to end, and they'll continue to listen to one have a chance to get it.
Well, we're wrapping up.
We're wrapping up here. It looks like either the human has to the next panel, or it's possible that you're at the wrong time.
Yeah, they forgot.
They forgot. They were there an hour ago, and that's what it is. They're embarrassed. They don't have made this yet.
Oh yeah. So we don't want to embarrass them. So let me do a little self plug here. If you're a Doctor Who fan, tomorrow, the autographs and stuff with Alex Kingston and John Berriman start, the photos and all that stuff. But Mark 42 will be doing panels, Doctor Who panels, at 11 a.m. in this room. We're doing Doctor Who 2017 in review, talking about the latest series that just finished a couple months ago and what we're looking forward to in the Christmas episode. At 4 o'clock, we have a doctor who is Jodie Whittaker, where we talk about the new female doctor. The new doctor. I should say the new doctor, because I reject the fact that we're calling her a female doctor. She's the doctor. She's going to be the doctor, but we're going to talk about that. There'll be audience participation, and there'll be some video. Well, okay, look how many people are in this room.
Amen. Yes, I'm right there with you.
And at 6 o'clock, Doctor Who, You Are a Good Man, Peter Capaldi, where we talk about Peter Capaldi's journey as the Doctor in Doctor Who. On Sunday, we've got Doctor Who Build the Next Companion, where it is totally audience participation, where we get a couple of artists up here from Artist Alley, and we have the audience describe who they have, the next companion they would like to see, and the artist, while you're talking about companions in general and what you think are important in a companion, the artist will draw a likeness from what you're saying, and they'll show that up at the end of the panel. And then at 3 o'clock, Doctor Who Anonymous, which is basically an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting for Doctor Who addicts. And what happens in Doctor Who Anonymous stays in Doctor Who Anonymous. And you talk about how you got into Doctor Who, how you got someone else into Doctor Who, what you like about Doctor Who, stuff like that. Or a deep dark secret, which is what I usually tell. That's at 3 o'clock on Sunday. And about you, what are you doing the rest of this weekend?
I will be everywhere. We're located in the media room upstairs. We will be interviewing folks from Artist Alley. I think I have an interview every half hour for the next 3 days. Wow. And I think I get to sleep on Sunday night. If they don't make me no, actually, we're going to wander around. We're going to do some interviews down Artist Alley. We're going to do some interviews down on the floor. We will be everywhere. See the camera bases. We're going to try to get some great shots out here of the people coming to the MegaCon Tampa Bay. I think it's awesome.
9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we got something going on.
9 o'clock tomorrow. Wait a minute.
On Facebook.
We do, actually, yes. I love this. This is great. Mark Baumgarten and the Hangin Show are teaming up tomorrow morning to bring you a multi-camera, multi-level live webcast on Facebook Live. We're going to tell you full coverage of what's in the vendor hall, what's on the floor, and what's going on all around here. This is a technical challenge for us. We're talking about technical sound equipment, etc. We are going to be doing a multi-camera live webcast.
Haven't done this before.
We've never done this before. As if we were, CNN. We're going to be up there in the control room. We're going to watch what's going on in the cameras. We're going to go all around there and kind of do that. So you guys tune into that tomorrow morning anyway. You can find it on the Hangin with Web Show's Facebook page, Hangin with Web Show. And now, by the way, real quick before we get off, because I know we've got people outside waiting, Mark and Christian, you're going to tell them where they can find Mark before we go online.
Pretty much anywhere now on iHeartRadio, iTunes. We're also on, you can download the episodes over the internet.
We have an app.
Yeah, download the app. So I know you can download this show. Yeah, pretty much wherever you can, whatever podcast, whatever device that you listen to your favorite podcast or radio show, you can find us, including on Krypton Radio. Anybody have any questions before we go?
All right, I'm Peter Thompson, and you can find us at the Hangin with Web Show on Facebook, on Twitter, or wherever else, or hanginwithshow.com. And Mark's got one more last thing, so here you go.
If you're looking for any cool Doctor Who merchandise, we've got a booth at G23 in the Gila Room. Come on in. Stop, say hello to us, talk to us, and G23.
Well, I know we said that before we go. Thank you guys for coming out there. Great dream, and I'll do that. MegaCon Tampa Bay.